morning. Y'all know where we are. We are in the Quilting Corner, ready to start today's video. We are starting, as always, with the subscriber spotlight. I don't know about you guys, but this is my favorite part, is seeing what everyone else is doing. You guys are creative. It's fun to see what you come up with, and today is no different than any other. Today we're going to start with Susie Burnett, and she is from Spanish Wells in the Bahamas. She has made a string quilt like we did on our YouTube video, and she has done such a good job with it. Can't wait for you to see it. It is beautiful, and well, let's take a look. Our next subscriber is Kathy Knight, and she is from Clinton, Tennessee. She watches our YouTube channel and loves scrappy quilts just as much as I do. So she has made several quilts, and she submitted 3 pictures of quilts she has made. One is a flying geese. Well, you'll see them. There's 3 different scrappy quilts, and she makes them for donation quilts. Isn't that sweet? Cute, cute quilts, and now let's take a look at those. Weren't those fun? She said she loves the colors in them, the scrappiness of them, because it's just so happy with all the different colors. And I agree with her on that one. I love scrappy. So now let's move on to the next subscriber, which is Mary Alleman. And she's still busy. She's submitted pictures in the past, and she's got another one now. She's got some pillows that she finished and a wall hanging. So take a look at those now. Weren't those creative? All these pictures that were submitted for today are beautiful. You guys did a great job, and thank you for submitting. If you guys want to submit a picture for next time, if you haven't already and you want to submit something, or you're working on something different, turn it in to us by email or however you can get in touch with us, and we will be more than happy to add it to next week's episode. And well, let's get on to our project at hand. Our project today is going to be jelly roll. It is National Sew a Jelly Roll Day, so what better project to do than a jelly roll quilt? So let's get started. Jelly roll. If you're not familiar with a jelly roll is a roll of fabric that is from one line of fabric, and it's pretty much all the prints in that line of fabric. So they are 2.5 inches wide, and there's usually 40 strips in a roll. So what we're going to do today is we are going to take this and make a pattern. Pre-cuts are the way to go, in my opinion, because I'm not spending all my time cutting all these fabrics to the specific size like this, the 2.5 inches. It's already done for me. And I know everything in this roll is going to match because it's all from one line of fabric. So what we're going to do with this particular pattern is we're going to unroll this jelly roll, and we're going to open it up. And all these, you'll see, let's see. These are all the different fabrics in this one particular fabric line. what we're going to do with it is we are going to take and randomly pick, because I don't want to sew all the golds together, all the blues together, all the pinks together. So I'm going to pretty much line them up in sets. All my golds are together, all my blues are together, that kind of thing. And when I'm sewing them together, I'll pick one from each stack. That way they're not all the same colors in my sets. So let's go down to the table and I'll show you what we're going to do. Here are my jelly rolls, and I am going to take them and put them into stacks like I said. Like there's my gold, here's my whites, there's some more golds, and I'm going to keep them all of the fold of the fabric on one side and all the raw edge on the other side. So I've got all my blues, some pinks, and then there's 2 or 3, maybe 3 of the corally color. So I'll just keep it a separate stack. I was going to put it with the pinks, I'll just keep it a separate stack. So here's all my stacks, and I'm going to want to pick 6 of these and sew them together. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stacks. So I'll just take one of each, and I'm going to actually push them out of my way for a minute so I can get to the sewing machine. So I'm going to take one, then I'm going to take another one, different color. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up sewing them side by side down the long side of the fabric. But to get started, I'm going to put them right sides together, line up the ends. Don't worry about the selvage edge yet. We will cut that off later. I'm going to line them up and I'm going to sew all the way down this long edge. But the first thing I'm going to do is thread my needle. Sorry about that. We might need that. It might help us get a little bit further on this project. So let's thread my needle. And then I guess you need to watch me do all this. So I will come back to you when I've got 6 of these sewn together, or at least when I start sewing them. Okay, here we are, back again. Now I'm gonna go, now that I've got my needle threaded, and I actually didn't even have a bobbin in there, so I had to do that. I'm gonna sew down this long side with my right sides together. Make sure I keep them lined up, and I'm always sewing this project with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Keep them lined up. If it's easier for you to pin them, then pin them. When I get to the end, it's gonna look like this, and I'm gonna iron it open. But I am just gonna wait till I get all these 6 sewn together before I iron them, because you all know I can't stand ironing. But I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. So I'm gonna take another one, and I'm gonna line it up on one side and sew it down this line. I'm gonna keep going until I've got 6 different prints sewn together. We have sewn all 6 of our strip sets of 6 strips wide. And there was 40 strips in the jelly roll set, so we should have 4 left over. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because we're only gonna use 6. We're gonna use 6 strips, 6 wide, 6 times 6 is 36. So that's how many we're going to use. Once we've done that, I'm going to take them and I'm going to spray them with some Best Press, which is great starch, or whatever you use. And I'm just going to iron them like this, all the way down them. Because once we iron them and they're good and flat, then we'll cut them. If you cut them at this stage without ironing them, you're not going to get a true cut. So make sure you iron them first. I am not a fan of ironing, but you have to do it when you have to do it, and this is one of those times. And thankfully, these iron up pretty fast. So I'm going to keep doing this until I get all six sets ironed. Try to say that real fast. And then I will come back and I'll show you how to cut them. So stay tuned. We've got our sets sewn together in 6 strips, and we have them all ironed. One of the sides has the big selvage edges. The other one has just a little selvage edge. I'm going to start with this other side. Most of them don't have such a big edge, but Ruby Star does, so I'm going to use that one on that side. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to line this up on the ruler to where this is on a straight edge. The straight edge here is on this line on the ruler. So when I've got that straight, I'm going to come down here to my ruler, to my board, and I'm going to cut off what I have to cut off of the selvage edge. So now I know I've got a straight edge. Now I'm going to take it and I'm going to line it up with the board. Okay, so I know this is straight here and this is straight here. And then I'm going to count over 6.5 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5 is right here. And I'm going to cut that strip. So now I've got a strip that looks like this. I need 6 of these from each set. So I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There was my half down there. So this one is 6.5 as well. Do the same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5 is right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5. If you need to, recount it because you don't want to mess this up. Then I'm going to slide this up so I've got more room on the board. Line it back up and count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then a half. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Almost got it wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5. So that's my 6.5. I'm going to move this down again so you can see it in the camera. Line it back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5 is right here. And then this is what I'm going to have extra. I'll save this and probably use this for some other project. You know me, I'm not going to throw it away. So I'm going to put that to the side. And then I should have 6 right here. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I'm going to do this with all of these sets. And then I'll come back and we'll start sewing them together. Once I've got them cut into the segments like this, I'll have 6 stacks of like blocks. So all of these in this stack are all going to look the same. So you should have 6 stacks with 6 in each one. The reason I break them off into stacks like this is I don't want to sew 2 of the same ones back together again. So I'm going to pick maybe this one from this group and this one from this group. And then I'm going to, they're 12.5 long, but I want them 12.5 tall too. So I'm going to take 2 of these and sew them like this. So I'm gonna put them right sides together, line them up, and I'm gonna sew down this line. We now have all of our units like this. What we're gonna do now is put 4 of these together. So we're gonna pick any 2 units, and I'm gonna sew them where my stripes are going like this, and do the same thing here. So I've got 2, let me get these out of the way. I've got 1 here and 1 here. Then I'm gonna pick another one, and I'm gonna put it here. Then I'm gonna pick another one, and I'm gonna put it here. So that now will be my 1 block. So I'm gonna sew these together. I'm gonna take this one, lay it on top of this one, line them up, take them to the sewing machine, and sew a 1/4 inch. So now it looks like this. And I forgot to tell you, at this point, they should be 12.5 inch square blocks. If you need to trim them down a little bit, square them up and trim them down. If not, keep on sewing. So you've got 2 sewn here, put them to the side. Now I've got these 2. I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna flip them right sides together and sew them together down this side. Sticking with the 1/4 inch seam. Make sure I got it lined up. Now I've got another unit like this. So I've got the 1 unit here, the 1 unit here. Now I'm gonna line these up, flipping them on top of each other. So I'll take this one, flip it here, and I'm gonna sew all the way down this line. So I'm gonna line them up. You can pin them if you like. Then I'm gonna take them to the sewing machine and sew a 1/4 inch. Just make sure they're lined up as you go down this seam. Or pin them, whichever way is easier for you. Make sure those seams are good. And now that I've got this sewn together, this is now what my block looks like. So it's pretty big. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units that were like this sewn together. Now I'm going to put this to the side. I'm going to come back and iron it in a minute, but that's what I want all of these to look like. I'm going to put 4 together, sewn just like that, just like we just did. So I'm going to keep going. line them up and sew them down this side. I'll come back to you when I get all of these units in 4 block sets, and then we'll be on the home stretch. When you're lining your units up, remember to do our method of match those seams up, roll them to the top, and then pin it. Do the same thing with the next one. Match those seams up, roll it to the top, and pin it. Then we'll sew down this long side. And we'll keep going until I've got all of my sets together. I should have 4 big units of 4. By big unit, I mean this right here. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4. And 4, so 8 across here if you do singular. And when we just put these units here together, I should have 4 of those kind of units in a set. And I'm gonna lay them to the side. I'm gonna iron them in a minute when I get to the last one. And then I'll come back to you. Now what I've got now is 4 big blocks like this. Now you can do it different ways right here. You can do it different ways the whole way through. This is just made up. You could do them all, like how these are going up and down. I mean, these rows are going up and down. I could take this unit and do it the same way, like that. Or I could twist it and do it this way, which is what I'm gonna do. Or you could sash it. You could put like a 2.5 inch strip sashing right down the middle and then right here, and then do your next 2 blocks. I'm not going to. I am going to just sew them together like this, flip them right sides together, line them up, and stitch down this side. I'm still sticking with the 1/4 inch seam. Make sure they stay lined up. So now I have 1 big unit all the way across here. One's going this way, one's going this way. So I'm going to do that again. And then I'll combine those 4. And there's lots of ways you can do this. You could do the sashing like I said. You could do no sashing. You could do borders around the sides. Lots and lots of ways. Let's see, this one's going columns are going up, so this one's going to go sideways. And then this one's going to go up. So that one's going sideways, and this one's going up. I'll line this just like I did the last two. Line up this side. Pin it going down. And then sew them together. Now the way I've done it, I've got 2 blocks left over. I meant to do that because I'm going to use them. Let's see, where'd I put them? Here they are. I've got 2 like this left over because I'm going to take them and I'm probably going to put a border around them, and then I'm going to make it a 2-sided pillow. So if you've got 2 left over like I've got, set them to the side, make you a pillow, or you can add them to the quilt. But I'm making a pillow. Now I've got another long set, and now I've got 2 big long sets. So I'm going to set them together and see how this one's going up and down. I want this one to go side by side. So I'll pick this side. Let's see. Oh, this way. Put it like this so that these are going up, these columns are going up and down, these columns are going sideways. So I'll put this on top of here. Again, remember I could put sashing between these, but I am not going to. If you want to make it a little bigger, you could, or you could just do borders, which is probably what I'm going to do. I'm going to see how I like this and decide if I want borders or not. But knowing me, I will have borders. So I'm going to pin this the same way I did the other ones. I'm going to line these seams up right there, roll them up, pin them, go all the way down here like that, and then I'm going to stitch the 1/4 inch seam. Now that I've got this whole row pinned, we're ready to sew. Here's what it looks like when you get it finished. I need to go back and press it again, but this is what it looks like. Again, you could sash right down here through the center and then right across there at the center. And that way it'll make it a little bit bigger if you wanted it bigger. This is a perfect baby or throw or lap or wheelchair kind of quilt. Lots of different reasons for this size, but this is it. I think I'm probably going to add a border, but once I add that border, I should be done. Haven't decided what color or what size, but there you go. There's a quilt thrown together in no time, and it is a jelly roll quilt. So happy National Jelly Roll Day. So until next time, happy quilting.